Hey everybody, this is Frank Hannon, lead guitarist of Tesla, and you're listening to Brigade-Radio-One.
You're listening to Brigade-Radio-One.
So did Schwarzenegger on Total Recall? Did he stay in the room with like Michael Ironside and read his lines?
Actually, Arnold's good at that. He does stick around.
I loved working with Arnold. He was one of my favorites when I was at Warner Brothers. So but he's such a jobber.
He's a workaholic.
Yeah,
he'll do whatever to get the project.
You could say, Arnold, climb under this house and pull out a fucking sewage pipe for me, and he'll go do it.
Somebody was telling me this girl I was with last night she volunteers at the Egyptian, and they just had the Predator opening there. And who was so great, she was telling me, he talked to everybody, he did a bit on top. They had a full-size Predator there,
right?
And they had a little tiny girl dressed as a Predator, and he did a whole thing with the fans and was terrific.
And he's not in the movie, right? Or is he in the movie?
I don't know.
Was this for the premiere for the new one? The Shane Black one? Because the director was in the original, too.
Shane Black was there. Heard a lot of Shane Black gossip, too.
Yeah. A lot of Shane Black gossip?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a huge backlash.
There's a backlash, yeah.
Really?
He hired a predator, a sexual predator.
Yeah, they cut she said they cut the interview short with the press. They didn't do anything. And she talked to him later, and he was kind of despondent over the whole thing.
One of my friends is in the original. Well, a couple of them. Sven Thorson, who's like Arnold's right hand man, and
Sven. Oh my God!
Who always tells
that
great.
Makes Arnold look like a little tiny puppy.
I mean, he's probably a foot taller than me when I stand next to him.
He's one of the biggest.
He's a massive guy. And then Sonny Landham, and the story with Sonny was that they had to keep security on his trailer door to keep him from fighting the rest of the cast. Although I never saw that side of him, and he died recently. But that was the story. And Sven always said, Sven always tells that great story when they wrapped Commando, because he's in Commando. Stop me if you've heard it. And they're at the premiere party, and the producer asks him, "So what'd you think of the movie, Sven?" He's all really proud of it. And Sven's like, to tell you the truth, I thought it was a 5. Sven talks just like Arnold. He's from Denmark, but he talks just like Arnold.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought it was a 5, and the producer walks off dejected and kind of upset, and looks like he'd lost his, 2 minutes later, Schwarzenegger comes up and corners him. Sven, what are you doing?
Hey, you don't
tell anyone it's a 5. I know the movie's a goddamn 2, but you don't see me telling people it's a 2. You don't tell anyone it's an 8 or 9. This is Hollywood, Sven. You idiot. You don't know what I know the movie's a 2. You don't see me telling people it's a 2. You want another job? You don't say 2. You goddamn idiot. It's 5. It's 8, 9, or what?
So spot. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah. Well, I loved it because it was so
he's
honest.
also a businessman. He knows.
Yeah,
he was right.
Yeah.
He started as a bodybuilder. Now where do you go? He gets Conan the whatever it is.
Conan the Barbarian. Which I loved.
Right. Okay.
Directed
which you had
by my
like
old
6.
boss.
Really, you're just a meat stick, and he kind of knew it. It's like, okay, how do you parlay this into a career? And he did masterfully.
Yeah. He understands you have to sell it.
Yeah.
On all levels. And that's one of the things I do love about him. He's not going to kid you about the movie. I was on Collateral Damage with him, and we all knew it wasn't Shakespeare. But he was, if you talk to him, this is the greatest movie I've ever done. Ever. This is going to be the defining movie of Schwarzenegger's career. I could be governor of California. I'm not going to be because I want to do Collateral Damage and possibly Collateral Damage 2. So, I'm sorry, Bill, I cut you off. But I did love working with Schwarzenegger.
No, I was just going to say, have you ever seen Sven's son?
No, I've never.
Bigger than Sven.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Those big bodybuilder guys are unbelievable.
He loves to cut me off when he does this show because I'll give an introduction like, Sven, okay, this is Sven Thorson. He was in Conan the Barbarian. And he's like, yeah, you've done your research. Let's get to the conversation now. He wrote a great book, but it's in Danish. It hasn't been translated into English in his biography. And it goes back to when he was smuggling cigarettes, through Gestapo lines during the World War II.
We were in Mexico City for months and months and months and months. And they were all staying at this big earthquake-proof Japanese hotel at the other end of the city, and I was staying in the Zona Rosa by myself, away from all the crew. But I would go out at night, and here would come this pack of the biggest men I've ever seen, smoking cigars, drinking, just roaming the city. I've never seen anything like that.
But by far, some of the nicest guys you'd meet, too.
Totally nice.
That's what's
so
off-putting.
Accessible and nice. I have wonderful pictures of Arnold holding my son. He was a little tiny baby, and He's a great guy.
Yeah, I'll tell
I
you.
I
never
don't know
took a
him that
job
well.
working for him, like privately, like we're running his company, or just you seem to have a great dynamic between the two of you. You and Schwarzenegger.
Well, I would have loved to have done that, but I think, and at the time, what's weird is he had an office, and we would call the office, and they'd say Arnold Schwarzenegger's office, and I guess he had just bought a house like in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Okay.
And the impression was that maybe everything was going to move up there, because that's where my boss, who I reported to, also dwelled, Steve Ruther, who's also passed away.
Okay.
Yeah,
I go there every year to Skeets, but it's
Do
like
you?
conservative. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Very conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the libs are moving in slowly but surely
I guess,
through
really.
a Hollywood
Seriously,
pipeline.
you knew that, though.
The Democratic
Yeah.
Underground Railroad's moving into Idaho. But no, I actually loved him. I mean, he would work out at the Warner Brothers Fitness Center and just show up. He'd just walk in by himself and just start working out. And if you were working out or something and he wanted the machine, he'd be like, "Here, let me give you a spot. Let's put some weight on this.
Right.
Let's do this
Yeah,
for real."
I'm telling you, just seemed like you would totally be.
Yeah.
I know you guys did get along really well, but it just seemed like that dynamic. And what's great about you, Ethan, and I understand I had the same thing when I was executive for 10 seconds in TV, is you have the ability. You are very. I don't say opinionated. You're going to just tell it how it is.
Yeah.
And this is a business that doesn't really reward that. You're supposed to say,
Which is why I'm in radio now.
I have a best friend who very successful, but he would always. I was always amazed that sort of like he would read a script that it's a piece of shit. Okay, and everyone knows it's a piece of shit. What did you think? And he would say, interesting. And interesting was always one of those words.
Yeah.
Could mean anything. Interesting. I don't know what they were thinking. These writers.
It's a safe word.
It's a safe word.
Safe, yeah.
Opposed to saying what you would say, which is, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, we're wasting our time if we spend any more time on this. One of the heartbreaking things for me at the time was they got a script for I Am Legend, and Ridley Scott was attached to direct it with Schwarzenegger as the star. And I was so heartbroken when that fell apart because I said, "Oh, this is it. This is your zombie apocalypse movie."
Right.
Ridley Scott and Schwarzenegger? Are you kidding me? And literally the whole thing was like a running napalm explosion from page to page.
Right.
I said, if they pull this off, it's first of all, Schwarzenegger can forget about Junior. It's not going to haunt him anymore. And there's all these other things that can be possible. I mean, this could be a total franchise for this guy. And it fell apart because Warner Brothers just didn't want to bank on him after the heart attack for whatever reason. And I don't know. And Schwarzenegger's
that's
on
why
the
it fell
record saying,
apart?
I think also that and Collateral Damage didn't do well.
That's it.
And, when I met him, it was hilarious because John Milius introduced us, the director of Conan the Barbarian, who was based in Building 81. And I go to him one day and said, "Hey, we're doing $13 million worth of reshoots on Collateral Damage," which everyone's like, "What the? That's like an independent movie times two." And I'm like, "Yeah, Andy Davis, director of The Fugitive, needs to do some reshoots, and they're on stage 8. And he's like, "Well, let's go see him." So we jump on a golf cart and we zip down there, and Schwarzenegger, there's like a David Spade Saturday Night Live assistant with the headset outside. He's like, gentlemen, doesn't recognize John. "Can I help you?" Like he's some kind of barrier police, right? Like the guy at the velvet rope. And John's like, "I'm here to see Schwarzenegger." And he's like, "All right. And who are you?" And he's like, "Just tell him his boss is here." He's got like a cigarette in his mouth, and he's like, "I'm not going to talk to you. Just tell him his boss is here." So John Schwarzenegger hears it, and comes out of his trailer. His trailer's right outside of the stage, and he's like, "What's going on out here?" And he sees John. He's like, "John, how are you?" And they kind of commit. They kind of get together, and then John introduces me, and Schwarzenegger puts his hand on my shoulder and goes, "You got good shoulders." And then he points at my gut and goes, "But you look like you've been relaxing." And I'm like, "You're right. And you can't help but love him." And then he looks at John, who's like Hemingway, and he's like, "And you look like you have all of Lake Superior in you." You're just sitting there going, "This guy."
Now, here's where my mind goes.
You better subscribe to this channel before you look uncool.